heart. Young Mercy, the one, all the rest ain't up too far. Came on like a drug is addictive. Take over the game with a mission. Don't be mad when you hear that knock. Better pack up quick, you just been evicted. Victim. Yeah. No time on go. No time for Tony. Yeah. Hey, 24/7 been working. Music keep me on my feet. Moms and pops have been banking. I moolah with all they children. Got a family to feed. Oh, yeah. I be about my business, chasing after labels. They don't gotta chase me. They shouldn't have to. I battle daily with my mind, cause it's filled with a dream. I gotta start living that. In the ammo that is shot through lines, I will load my 9 and then I give it back. Beam me on them like it's laser tag. Well, you've been asking questions, I've been counting blessings. Women know by now that I would never stress them. Madden bands like mathematics lessons. Notebook on nowhere, I gotta book some sessions. I've been on this grind, ain't noticing. Hope I can team up with Yogi, split golden waste space. Try that smell loving Kev really on this shit. Sick clan, I love you. That beef shit is over with 24/7. 24/7. I write the chains, lies, a hope audience catch it. Catching that change like I aim to close range. Be that pain to the grain with the trigger and press it. No one knows what I'm producing for sure. Know that my crew really do this for sure. No one can say they stuck true to the boy. I've been hotter than Lucifer's flow and destroying boy. Please don't try and give me compliments. I don't need love when I'm confident in my own game. Niggas screaming out dimes and shit label me great over all my accomplishments. Knowing my topic trend. Open my topic trend. Yeah, young niggas stepping up into the game. Chains on my back, got me feeling like Luke Cage. Feeling with rage, being this pain. Trying to spread my wings like a bird in a cage. People keep saying Moon Savage have changed. The only thing changed about me is my lanes. Don't fuck with these niggas, cause niggas is lame. I stay to myself and I just do my thing. People keep saying I'm so stuck in my ways. I'm getting to the guap so different island feel the same. I'm a lyrical weapon, I'm a 30 when it bang. I'm a lyrical weapon, I'm a 30 when it bang. Down got the pumpy, this up in the passion. Moon got the 40, this up in the wedding. Leave you beheaded. Nigga, I get it. Nigga, I gotta turn up. 24/7, I'm working. Young niggas scratching the surface. My niggas is trapping the survey. I used to be sitting in service. Lord knows a nigga ain't perfect. Everything I got, bitch, I earned it. This world is mine, I deserved it. 24/7, 24/7, 24/7, I'm working. Young niggas scratching the surface. My niggas is trapping the survey. I used to be sitting in service. Lord knows a nigga ain't perfect. Everything I got, bitch, I earned it. This world is mine, I deserve it. 24/7. I left my brother at home. No more texting, no more calling my phone. I'm in my zone. Parents don't fuck with me. Luckily, I got a voice that is gold. It is me versus my verses. Pick my verse up when you're versing. I've been hurting, you've been lurking. 24/7, I'm working. Yeah. Donovan Michael, man, comeback season.
Ghost.
Watching television with the best kid. Global linking like the gold chain on my necklace. I will body anybody talking reckless. This for anybody trying to step in, you get cut like Smith and Wesson. Oh, I'ma tell y'all who the best is. Tell Columbia they made a good investment. Tell Columbus that I'm chasing after fame now. I need 100K a show in my possession. Question, represent my brother like a best man. Global to the death of me, I vow it with my left hand. Right hand on the Bible, I done preach to make a difference. I will eat to bring the feet on opponents who never listen. Don't never give out no features unless you fit the description of talent. And if you don't, then you'll never fill that position of winning. I say it nice, but I never repeat it twice. I've been cooking to be the height, so your verses made me the citizenship. All you suckers, I been really mastering these verses like a hobby, nigga. Cops still got a boo, police just wanna drop somebody's trigger busting. No discussion when the holler start to fly. You either dead or you alive. What's in between is a surprise. No, my bangers are hotter than a summer 16. I wonder what's popping with you. There's no second option, cause Diamond spitting out hottest scriptures. Born in 98, baby, 18 years old, I'm modest. I killed the game since my birth as soon as I popped out my mama. Yeah, they broke my collarbone, but it was all to make me stronger. Now I'm stronger in my mindset than all of these other artists. I am so pure like the water that is artist in. My tour bus like the Odyssey. Don't think that I departed yet. 2 grams in the wood unless my brothers, they don't spark it yet. The green just clear my thoughts, so it's easier to become the best. And when I am, then you'll finally understand I'm number one. Call me Cam while I'm dabbing to the fans, for real. Yeah. Donovan Michael, man. Come back soon. Flex. Yeah. Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. That's some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex. See, I got more essays than the Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to on me like my only friend. Pack of pussies when it's in a holster. Fast money like I'm moving soda. Fast money hitting in a sofa. And my wrist is flicking like I'm cooking soda. Yo, girl said she want me. Had to distance. She was with the homie, so we had to flip her. She was going down. Yelling timber and that Nina on me, so don't try to tempt her. Religion started going by the cold. Man, that's sleeping on me. Man, it's getting old. You can call the game, but they never fold. You can play the game, but my player pose. Derek on me, but that speaker knockers. Got that taller on me, and it's going up, cause I ain't never worried. Say I'm about to button up your shirt, but my third stop you like, whoa. Man, these rappers getting bold, telling stories like they fold. I never fold, pull up 100s, I'm flexing. Yo, girl steady trying to text me, and she just met me. I show her the realest, she let me. So please don't try to test me, and I'm going lefty. She pull up with Nancy, I'm flexing. She said she wanted some chefy like. It's crazy how the story goes, baby. And I know you've been stressing a lot lately. It's crazy how her soul is screaming, save me. And I know what she wants, she's screaming, lay me down, 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 down. Baby screaming, lay down, ain't no time to play now. Change my player ways, crazy how she thinks I changed now. Yeah. Money mission, we need it, so give us them fast bucks. 100K up in the safe for my Uzi and Max, I be strapped up. If you talking tough, we hit you up, never ask us when you act up. Better believe that we flex and run the game on all of these niggas. Yeah, money mission, we need it. Money mission, we need it. I wanna ball, I want my name on the Hall of Fame wall. This ain't a game I go all like LeBron, and when I hit the stage, you know I'm a star. Yeah. Me and Keith been on a mission to get our stats up. Yeah, catch a flight tonight, I'm ready, got everything packed up. Yeah, got my shooters with me, don't get close to me and act up. Well, we got our cash up, we got my green in the Packers, yeah. Niggas be faking, flopping, playing roles like they actors. Yeah, claim they knew his job is gonna be better than they last one. Yeah, let's be honest, I'm abusing both the way I pass them. Don't be the one getting passed up. Wanna know the way you view me, what's your thoughts on me like Aubrey's last album. I want a Grammy and BET, standing ovation to praise for my travel, my journey. I earned it from learning, from bridges burning. I'm the greatest and you see the outcome. Failure I never would fathom. Slaughter the beat like I'm 21 on his birthday, we're wicked and faster. Yeah, more applause waiting for me. I think the people been patient with me. Waving my dreams are the way that they seemed in the sheets. And people been patient with me, so bedtime's the correct time to get in a session. Write my blessings down when I'm asleep. Counting down, that's why y'all catching shit. Yeah.
Flex.
Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. That's some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flare you, I got more essays than the Mexican. No Australia, girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to want me like my only friend. Flex.
All right, 94 feet and beyond. It's Wednesday.
We're here.
Hump day.
Yeah. We're here. It better be Wednesday.
Oh, no. Look, I'm thrown off because of Labor Day.
Yeah, last week I was dying, but I'm feeling better.
Yes.
I feel a lot better. So, but now my husband
sound
is
better.
sick. Yeah, he's sick now.
So is mine.
Yeah.
My husband is sick.
I didn't know.
Laying on my pillow.
That's exactly what I said to him yesterday. I said, I don't need it back.
I was like, Lee, you gonna use your pillow?
Right.
He probably listened to it. Like,
that's so funny. I was like, David, I said,
yes.
Stop sneezing on my pillow. Like, I went to that bathroom, I heard a big old sneeze, and you take him outside towards the door. But anyways, guys. So.
Well, you know, he went back to school, with the kids. Okay, that's hold on
our guest is on her way. She's here looking at her phone now. So, guys, I hope everyone had a good Labor Day. September 1st came around too, since we've been here. Was it here? So since then, now all the 2019s have been getting calls, filling the calls and stuff of all the new.
Hold on for a moment. I gotta go let our guests in.
I'm going to go let our guests in, but I know right now 2019s are filling calls along with the 2018. So it's that time of the year. It's exciting for the girls when they get calls. I know my daughter is excited to get calls. Sometimes she's kind of like, I got another call, but it's good. It's exciting for that to happen. There's open gyms going on for high school, so that's a good start up right now. I know East Morris has one today, 6 to 8. After Christmas, I think has it Friday and Saturday. Anybody else have any open gyms? Again, let us know so we can announce them if you want some extra people to come up to your open gyms. I'm here talking to myself because she must have all of our guests in. So I'm just talking here. Let me see what else is going on right now. I don't know. It's just exciting now because now the girls are allowed to go for their open gyms too at the schools. And not practices. I think the practices can't officially start until the end of October, but at least they're in. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day. Labor Day for me was chill. My daughter went to go work out. I cleaned. I walked. My youngest daughter, she's my new trainer, my 5-year-old. So I was out there training with her. She was trying to show me how to shoot basketball. It's not working out though. I'm not shooting. I don't know where Ice is though. She went to go get our guest. Coach McKinney is our guest for today. So they should be on their way in here soon. I'm gonna go ahead. So y'all gotta listen to me just ramble. We're gonna take about a 5-minute break, and they should be back here in a moment.
All I see is flawless. 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 Flawless money don't make you realize. Scared man, okay, let's be real. All I see is flawless. All I see is saying I'm the realest. Just saying I'm a realist. And all I see is flawless. Flawless money don't make you realize. Scared man, okay, let's be real. All I see is flawless. All I see is saying I'm the realest. Just saying. I be fly, but I be float. Your fly stay high, cause I'm just that dope. Ain't tryna be fake, so let's be real. 24K just to see me though. Most of these boys just see me folk. I'm out there lead like CP3. You can never see me like a UFO. It's in my jeans, so you ain't know. Listen, money don't make you real if you want real when you a broke. Boy, that money gon' get you killed if you a clown, and that's no joke. Yeah, I don't gang bang, but I bang bang when it comes to me and my folks. And the same thing for my dough. Yeah, I'm riding around with my toast. On the break, grab who I know. Say amen for that BK. Gotta say grace before I use my vote. So leapfrogging your coat. No new friends, no fake friends, no nonsense is my quote. No children, no playpen, no fraudulence, and that's dope. All I see is fraudulence. All I see is money don't make you real. I see you scared, man. Okay, let's be real. All I see is fraudulence. All I see they saying I'm the realest. Just saying I'm a realist. And all I see is fraudulence. All I see is money don't make you real. I see you scared, man. Okay, let's be real. All I see is fraudulence. All I see they saying I'm the realest. I'm just saying I'm a realist. Baby, y'all live on me. What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? Cup watching you a peeping time. Nosy neighbor, nosy neighbor. What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? Cup watching you a peeping time. Nosy neighbor, nosy neighbor. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, yeah, they be all in my soul. Why you always in the mix with it? And you ain't help me mix, did you? My table is full, can't eat with you fools. Now you can't even sit with us, let alone have a sit with us. Now you can't even hit this one. Simple and plain, can tell by your frame that you don't get the big picture. That boy that he a soft drink, that mean they got some with him. Listen, this a A and B conversation. See, they all on my D in my conversation. Pockets on E, F that. Me against you, that's a mismatch. Did they disrespect? I'm a lit match. Game is it, so I treat it like it's pit patch. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, yeah, they be all in my soul. You must got me mixed up. Wait, it must be a mix up. She said I'm a stiff drink. And well, you a mix one. I'm the type to mix business with pleasure. I love getting money. We just go together. My homeboy, he got a dope wrist. Your girlfriend, we call her Blowfish. Since you all in my fridge, I ain't lost the interest. All at your crib and I do it again. Boy, I don't play. Let's I play to win. I hit your girl once and I'm gone in the win. You thirsty, boy, pull up. Want anybody why you show up? Oh, you want a taste of the good life? Somebody tell that boy to grow up. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, yeah, they be all in my soul. They be y'all in my mix, all in my mix, all in my mix. They be y'all in my mix, all in my mix, all in my mix. They be y'all in my kitchen, I mean in my business. They say they're hungry but won't do the dishes. Don't pay them no mind, don't pay them no dishes. Good, pay me to pay them for business. They be y'all in my mix, all in my kitchen. They be y'all in my mix. They be y'all in my mix.
All right, we back. We found our guests wandering around somewhere outside.
Y'all gotta hear me talking to myself anymore. I know y'all was tired of me rambling for like 5 minutes. That's why I want to let y'all hear the music. But we got a special guest here. He's a living legend walking through here from Afrocentric. Coach McKinney.
Coach William McKinney in the building.
Welcome.
We ain't got no band. Where's the band?
Where the bell at? Where? there you go. There you go.
All right, here we go.
That's a nice deal.
That's nice. Here we go.
They must be living under a rock if they don't know who you are. But go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
My name is Coach McKinney. I'm the head girls basketball coach at Afrocentric. Been coaching at Afrocentric since we actually started the program in 2001 when they were getting ready to turn K-8 Afrocentric to a high school.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman at the time was a guy named George Maxey. He was my fraternity brother, and I was applying for some classes to get my master's at Ashland University, and he seen me coming down the steps, and we kind of exchanged words. And at that time, he hit me with, hey, I'm the new principal at this new middle school. We're eventually going to be going to high school. I know you coaching some AAU stuff with the girls. I might be interested in you doing the girls basketball program over there. Yeah, I think too much about it. And a couple of weeks later, while I was coaching at Livermore, he called me and he told me that he wanted me to come over there and take the job. And I told him, no, I don't really want to do that because I had only been coaching middle school girls basketball for 3 years. I did 1 year at Dayton at McFarland Middle School, and then I did 2 years at Livermore Middle School, and I was just getting my feet wet with the whole girls, the whole girls coaching piece. So he comes to me and said, man, you can start your own girls basketball program. I was like, nah.
That's a lot of pressure, right?
Well, it wasn't the fact that it was pressure. It's just something I wasn't interested in jumping right into right away.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, that was like the second time I tried to turn down a girls coaching job. The very first coaching job I got was in Dayton at McFarland Middle School. Once again, another fraternity brother of mine. I'm interviewing for the job, just trying to get a teaching job. And in the interview, he says, yeah, good brother, you're gonna, you'll be my health teacher. I need an athletic director. You can do the track. And I'm like, yeah, all right, bring it on. Sounds great. And he's like, oh yeah, I need you to coach girls basketball. First thing came out of my mouth, I was like, nah, bro, I don't want to do that. So, he just ignored that. Like, nah, you're going to do the AD, you're going to coach track, and you're going to be the girls basketball.
So you were the AD and you had to coach the
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So you did all your stuff.
Right. I was getting it in quick. So, I ended up coaching the middle school girls team there. Had a really good girl on my team named Brandy Hoskins. She eventually played at Ohio State. She's one of their best players.
Oh, wow, okay.
She graduated Chaminade Julian. They won a couple of state titles, but I coached her in the 8th grade. We had a great season. She averaged 38 a game.
Wow.
We actually
God.
38 points.
Yeah, we actually won the middle school championship, was undefeated. And that was how I got started coaching girls basketball.
So did you play basketball in high school? Or?
Yeah, I played basketball in high school. After my senior year, I broke my jaw, so I didn't play.
Wow.
I didn't play any basketball in college, but I went to Central State, started hanging around the gym, got real close to Coach Kevin Porter, who was the men's coach at Central State at that time, and they was really good. And he kind of just took me on the road with him, so I was kind of traveling with the boys team, just observing as much as I can, and I learned a lot from Coach Porter because he was an NBA player. He actually led the league, the NBA in assists, until his assist record got broke by Scott Skiles. So he knew a lot about the game. He was a really good coach. He and I played racquetball every morning, like 6 a.m. And we just talked basketball, talked a lot about just coaching philosophies and stuff like that. I just was hanging around the team at Central State, and that was kind of how I got introduced to basketball from a coaching standpoint initially. Then, after I left McFarland in Dayton, I came here to Columbus and took over Troy's Taylor job at Livermore Middle School. And when I took that job over, I went from winning all my games, and we didn't win not one game.
Wow.
Went from first to worst. So but the funny thing was, it was cool. The people in the lending community was great. Lemoore was a fantastic coaching experience because I coached girls basketball. I also coached soccer, and I also coached track. So I had some great relationships.
You know a lot of the kids.
Yeah, a lot of kids. So we didn't win any games that first year. We was getting killed too. And at that time, Marsha Dotson, who played at Mifflin,
I love Marsha. Hey, Marsha, shout out Marsha.
Yeah.
I love her.
Marsha played at Champion. Her and Arizona Favors was on the same team. We went to Eastmore, and Arizona ran track at Ohio State. So we was getting smashed by girls like that. And then Alicia Behringer, who played at Brookhaven, we coached against her. She was at Franklin Middle School. So we was getting killed. Like 50-2.
Okay.
38.
Okay. That was foreshadowing, preparing you for what you had coming.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Preparation.
It was great.
Yes.
To humble and get ready for what was coming for you.
Yeah.
But when it came to girls, did you ever see yourself coaching girls though? I mean, I know you're following the boys at Central State because girls is a whole nother
Right.
thing.
No, never. I never. Like I said, the first two jobs that was offered, I really didn't want to do it. I didn't really get entrenched and really start wanting to coach girls basketball until I actually started coaching them at McFarland in Dayton. And the only reason I turned down the high school job initially at African Century was because I just wanted to, I wanted to build up Lemoore and then kind of move from there. And fortunately, when I was at Lemoore, I was working with Sat Selinger.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
teacher
He
over
did.
there.
Okay.
And he would bring Jared in there. He was like in the 4th grade at the time, and just was talking to me about different things. And then he told me about Jerry Watson, who coached in All Ohio.
Right.
So initially I had contacted Jerry Watson, and Jerry Watson gave me JB's number. So I ended up calling JB.
And there goes the friendship.
That's how the friendship started. Okay.
Listen, I called JB, and JB got such bad phone etiquette.
Yeah, he does. The worst.
Right.
The worst.
I called
Yes.
JB.
I hope he's listening.
I hope you
Don't
listen to
call-
JB because you don't
He
want
don't
to
return phone calls. He called you back?
No.
Oh, okay. See,
I
yeah.
called JB about 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
No answer.
Yes.
No answer.
Yes.
So
He must have wanted something when you called back.
no. He never called back.
He didn't,
Okay.
and he didn't know you was, so he was
He
like,
didn't
I ain't
know who
calling him.
was, so he didn't call me back. But I was at that time. See, when I first moved here to Columbus and I was coaching girls basketball, my thing was to get around everything that was good in girls basketball I was going to. So I went to Bishop Hartley, had a really good girls basketball team at the time. Pinkerton was really good at the time. Brookhaven was really good at the time. So I was at all the Brookhaven games, watched a lot of Coach Lee. There was a big tournament at Pinkerton, and JB happened to be at the tournament sitting behind me. You know what I'm saying? And he had just made a comment about Brady Hoskins, and so my ears perked up. So, man, I turned around and said, man, you JB? I said, dude, I've been calling you for 2 weeks. He said, who? I said, yeah, I'm Will McKinney.
I can see his face.
Right.
I can see his face right now. Looking.
Yeah. Right.
We got to talking and chopping it up. He's like, oh, yeah, man, you can come help me coach and just start coming around. And, sure enough, I just went to his house. And he actually stayed not far from here. I went over to his crib, and we was chopping it up, and he told me he had practice at Brookhaven, and then he was practicing also at Mifflin at the time. He had some really good players, Barbara Turner, Brittany Hunter, AJ. He had all of the top girl basketball players. So, I was going to his practices, right? I went to his practice. So he says, man, you should come to Virginia with us. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to Virginia or whatever. And so I go to Virginia. It's the Boo Williams. Like,
oh God.
Oh, the biggest
Yeah.
yeah.
God, the biggest girls tournament in the world. You know, so I'm with him. Now, mind you, I've been going to his practices. He ain't told me nothing. So we get to Boo Williams.
Are you coaching?
I go with JB to a meeting with Boo Williams, and I'm just sitting there. I'm observing. So we leave the meeting, get back to the hotel. He just gives me a packet like, bro, here go your team. I'm like, you go my team. What you talking about? Like, oh, bro, you know, I need you to come on the high school team.
We should have JB in here with me
He
today.
said, I need you to coach my high school team. I was like, man, come on. Oh, man, you'll be straight. So, you know, JB style, sure enough.
Is that the team Lori was on? Or
Lori Poindexter was on it.
yeah.
I mean, I had some good kids on that team. So I get to the game, you know, sure enough, parents is in there. Looking like,
Who is this?
what's this?
Looking for JB.
Looking for JB. So, you know, luckily, you know, on the road up there, because I don't know how I got talked into it, but I was driving the van. I had drove the van. But it was cool. I was a loyal soldier, so I knew some of the girls. I had, you know, some relationships with them. And so, man, I get to the game, we in a warm up, and you know, I'm calling them over, and you know, you got some people looking. This is a big game. Like, it's at the Boo Williams, and during that time, you know, both of JB's teams, like, they really, you know, attracted a lot of college coaches. So I'm in the gym, like dang.
Right.
This is my first high school coaching experience.
God.
College coaches, right.
I mean, it was crazy. And, you know, I ended up coaching.
You ain't know the position.
They don't have no plays, like.
Well, here's the thing, though. I because, you know, one thing about the situation is because I was going to all of JB's practices.
Oh, yeah,
You had
I ran really good practices. So I had a good understanding of what to say and what to do. And so, you know, when I jumped in there and started coaching those young ladies, I never was nervous about it. You know what I'm saying? I never was. It just was kind of.
He really prepared you without telling you he was. You would.
Yeah, and it was just funny because how he did it.
Karate Kid. Karate Kid.
And I'm just thinking, like, what about somebody who just wasn't prepared? But you know, so I went in there and you know, I just did what I know. Just talked to him about playing defense, just basic things. You know, guard this person, guard it. Let's get back. Let's hustle.
Yeah.
Let's rebound. You know, Candace Brown was the point guard at the time. She ended up going to play at Butler. Had another young lady on that team named Simone Jones, played at USC. So I had, and the funny thing is the academic advisor at Ohio State right now is a young lady named Megan. She actually played on that team too.
Yes.
Okay.
She told me she saw you.
Yeah, she told me she actually
you.
played on that same team.
She was like, I seen Coach McKinney in Kroger's.
Yeah. I love Kroger too. Shout out to Kroger. All the cooks out there on the street, you know.
And she was like, she said, all she
That's why I
heard
go to
was,
over there for my lunch break on First Street. That one, I love that one.
she said, all she heard was, hey girl. Hey girl.
Hey, I mean, you know, and she was the center. I mean, it was crazy because I had some really good players. And the funny thing is, when you a spiritual person, it's funny how God just put you in situations
All the time.
when you allow yourself to be put in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've experienced a lot of success with girls basketball, but it came with some hard work. But also, it's a path that God puts you on because you think you want to do something. Because I always picture myself as the next Stan Latham because all through college, I mean, I promoted parties. I did comedy shows. I did concerts. You know, things of that nature. You know, strip shows. You know, that's just
Okay.
what I just did. I was a party promoter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I
Because
really
you're a people person.
thought that I was
But that's
going
good
to
though
do.
to promote your girls. So it prepares you. Everything was happening for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. You know?
Uh-huh.
And it's been a great experience, you know. And one of the great things about me and JB's relationship, we kind of like that movie, The Odd Couple. I don't know if you guys ever remember watching Odd
Yes.
Couple
Mhm.
back
Yes.
in the day. If
Yeah.
you ever watched that, that's me and JB to a T. And we kind of did a really good job of feeding off each other. And when the Afrocentric piece came about, he was one of the people that said, like, you know, and you might as well take the job. At least then we'll have a consistent gym to practice in.
Take it for the
Take it
gym.
for the
We
gym.
still have a gym to practice in. And, so we went over there. And at the time, Star Allen was there. You know, she was one of the best 8th graders coming out. So when I went over there and introduced myself to her, I told her, I said, hey man, if you stay here, you have a great team. We're gonna win. We're gonna win a state title. We're gonna win some district titles. She was kind of looking at me like, dude, first of all, don't know you. I don't know who you are. I'm going to Independence, play with Coach Spencer.
Right.
And good luck. So, you know, I was like, it's cool. I shot my shot. But sure enough, you know, we ended up building up Afrocentric. And when I left Livermore, the crazy thing is, I was the phys ed teacher at Livermore. So when the people in the community and the parents and the players heard I was going to Afrocentric, and about 20 kids left Livermore and came to Afrocentric.
Wow.
And a couple of those young men that played on my basketball team ended up transferring to Afrocentric, and they played on the Afrocentric boys team, who actually won a state title in
Oh, wow.
2005.
Okay.
And then some of the young
Dang,
ladies that left
2001.
with me from Livermore got an opportunity to be part of Afrocentric's first City League championship in 2006. One of the young ladies, Sharita Harris, was the first one to actually win a City League title at Afrocentric, first kid to participate in a state tournament in track and field. So, you know, and she was such a hard worker. And one of the things about me is coming from Chicago, I'm used to being in the gym or at the playground all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the thing about me. And at that time, I didn't have a wife and didn't have any kids. So, you know, it was nothing for me to just sit
Be
in the
there
gym
all
day.
night.
Right.
Right.
You know, I went, when I got to work at Livermore, you know, I didn't leave right. I wasn't the type of teacher to be running out and leaving. You know, I opened up the gym. That's how I actually got close to a lot of the kids in the community, because they knew after school, man, we just go to the gym and hoop all day. Why? Because, you know,
That was good.
Coach McKinney gonna be in there. And so, you know, I would stay there till about 5:30 after I get done coaching or whatever I was doing. And then at the time I was working at Dow America off campus. So I had to be there at 6. So, you know, I stayed at school till 5:30, go to work, you know, at Dow America till 10, come back and just did it every day. So I was in that gym so much. I built a great rapport with a lot of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So what was the first state championship at Afrocentric? What year was that?
The first state title at Afrocentric was 2007.
Okay.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it really should have been 2006. You know, our 2006 basketball team was loaded, and we was undefeated all the way up until we lost in the regional championship to Berlin Highland.
Oh,
And
no.
and you know, at that time, I realized at that moment, like, okay, when it gets to the regional championship, regardless of how much talent that you have, anything can happen.
Right.
And Berlin
Mhm.
Highland was a really good team and a storied program. You know, they've been to more state Final Fours than any other school in the state history of Ohio. You know, Slaybaugh is a very good coach. They've also won 5 state titles. They're very disciplined. And so after that, you know, I kind of figured out how we really needed to be prepared. But that 2016 was extremely good. They looked very good. To be honest with you.
What's your secret though? Because that was like within 5 years of you starting that high school program, y'all got to a state championship.
Right.
What do you feel like, without giving your secrets away?
Well,
what is the secret behind it?
You know the funny thing about that? I don't want it to be a secret,
Mm-hmm.
and I want everybody to know, and I want as many schools as possible to be successful because I want as many kids to get scholarships as they can
That's the
possibly get.
goal, right?
Yes.
So
That's
it's
great.
not a secret. It's just what I said before. I don't have hobbies. You know what I'm saying? I don't golf. I don't do too much nothing. So if you can be in a gym and allow opportunities for kids to come to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
then it works itself out.
Mhm.
The reason why Afrocentric
Being
have
available.
began to get so many kids is because, you know, I did AAU. I coached middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I also helped out Mr. Geis with the Nike League. Rest in peace. He was a great guy.
Yes,
He
Yes.
we love
he
him.
always
Yes.
let me coach
Mm-hmm.
all of his. In every league I coached, every league, fall league, AAU, my winter league. So I did it year round, and then in the summer I was doing it. So the biggest thing for me was people just recognize me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
for instance, Taisha Moss, who brothers Raheem, he went to Brookhaven, and she had some friends, Tanisha Anderson and Shanice Cox. I mean, Afrocentric wasn't even a high school, so those kids just would have never just came to Afrocentric just to be coming there for high school.
Right.
But what happened is they was able to come and hoop in that gym every single day because I was in the gym every single day.
Right.
You know, and the thing about it, you can have open gym every day. You know that's legal.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
as long as you ain't in that coaching, so
Right.
the
Right.
kids knew
Just open the doors.
they can come into the gym and hoop, and then I get on their little tails. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't come in there cussing. They couldn't come in there acting stupid. You know, they couldn't come in there after they done stole somebody's bike. I was always checking them up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it almost just came natural. Whenever they got in situations at the other schools, they would call my phone. Like Moss is at one school. She wasn't initially at Afrocentric for middle school, but she ended up calling me one day like, man, get me out of this school. Get me out of here.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, I gotta get. I said, Mom, I just can't get you out of there. You know what I'm saying? Your mom gotta like move you. I can't just come take you out of the school. She was like, no, get me out of here. So the funny thing is, the principal of that school was my homeboy from Central State. He and I was like, we was running buddies. And so I said, what's going on with Moss? He said, bruh, get her out of here. So
Okay.
Had to go.
I said, well, man, what has to happen? So he kind of walked me through the whole transfer situation and this, that, and the third. And at that same time, Moss's best friend was a young lady named Shanice Cox, and she just really didn't want to come over there. And her mom was like, nah, you going over there
You
to
going
that
with
school
mom.
right
Y'all
with
going
Coach
together.
McKinney, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's just how they ended up. And then at the same time, Ayana Dunny, who was really good, ended up coming over there because, once again, the gym is just always open. Mr. Dunny was coaching an AAU team called like the Future Stars or something like that. And so he ended up coming over there and he's like, man, you know, can we come in here sometime and practice with my AAU team? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, they told me the gym be open because he just literally just walked in. I was like, yeah, you can come in. So he brought
It's like Walmart. Huh?
exactly. He brought his daughter over, and at the time I was working out a young lady named Alicia Howard, who was really good.
Mhm.
When I was at Livermore, her sister was like helping me out, and she was young, about 5th grade. So when I went to Afrocentric, she came over as a 6th grader, And so she ended up developing it really, really good. And so I was training, working her out, and Mr. Dunning was on the other end of the court looking down there like, man, like that, like she pretty good. And his wheels got to turn. He's like, man, it would be something my daughter can play with him. He's like, man, you got some. I hit Tyson Moss thinking about coming to school. And I said, yeah, she go to school here. And at that time, he was at a Catholic school.
Okay.
So sure enough, next year, brought his daughter, 2 or 3 other girls. China Seti Chambers came over, and that's how the Chambers girls ended up over there. And then that middle school team, could have played in the high school city league championship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was Alicia Howard, Ayana Dunning, Taisha Moss, Shar Harris was there at the time. Don Wade and Seti Chambers. I mean, it was just a really good middle school team. Now, at the same time, I was coaching high school, and JB was coaching the middle school team. So that's how we kind of got it going.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So y'all was handing it
I was
off.
handing them over. Yeah, just passing on. I didn't know JB coached the middle school team. Okay.
Yeah,
I knew he was coaching. He coached boys too, didn't he?
Well, he coached middle school boys years later. But when we initially started out, I coached the middle school for 1 year. Then they added 9th grade.
Okay.
I went on up and coached 9th grade, and then JB had that really good middle school team.
Oh,
and that's just how Afrocentric, the grassroots, how it just kind of took off and exploded from there. You know, we didn't start out as a varsity. We took baby steps. We had a freshman team, and I want to say 2001, 2002.
I can't believe that.
That's so
when our
crazy.
girls was born.
Yeah, that's what I was like. My baby born in 2001.
Right.
I was a baby myself. I was 18.
Yeah. So, you know, 2002, 2003, we had a JV team, and our first year of varsity was actually 2003, 2004. You know.
That's just so crazy to me because I graduated high school in 2000, so there wasn't an Afrocentric high school at that time.
See
So,
what I'm saying?
and it just think about like, because that's what made me think
right.
about that 5 years later, y'all end up in the state running for a
Exactly.
state title.
It didn't just happen. It didn't just
Yeah, because
happen.
people think that it's just
overnight,
like you just
but
win
that's
pool
just how it
girls
was.
and they just played and they won. That's always
when the funny thing is about Satch, when I was at Lemoy, he used to be sitting there like, hey, you bring some of the Chicago stuff down here, you gonna end up doing something. Because he just seen how much I was in the gym. Yeah. I didn't really get it, but you know, I just stayed in. I can be in the gym all day. You know, I'm a fan of girls basketball, and it's easy for me to work because when you don't have hobbies and that, like I said, I have no wife, no kids, no nothing, and I could just.
That was your pastime. Yeah,
it was absolutely when we first initially got the job in Afrocentric. You know, everybody was new. The AD was new. The principal was new. So I told the AD, and I said, "Yo, I need the keys to the gym, so we can hoop, bro." And he was like, "Man, I can't just be giving you keys. You can't have access." And the AD was my frat brother too. and me and him would go around.
So get into a fraternity or a sorority so that you can have people everywhere you go.
Right.
I mean, definitely KSI have done a lot for me with basketball. But anyway, I mean, he just was like, yo, I can't be just giving you keys to the gym and whatnot. So I had a white Chevy Blazer. I used to drive, pick my kids up at 6 in the morning. We used to go work out at Fred Beekman at Ohio State outside.
Wow.
Till about 9:30, 10.
Okay.
Wow.
So we just did that.
So you just hustled. You hustled. You made an opportunity for the girls, and that's why they came.
Well, you talk about the girls, getting the girls there, but once you got them there, there's got to be something else too, because you can have a team full of amazing girls when the team is still not winning.
You know, like I said, I spent a lot of time around Brookhaven, and I spent a lot of time in Coach Lee's office. I might have went, Coach Lee like, man, this little dude come over to this school all the time. Stayed with Coach Lee. He was the general. He was like, man, I tell you what, I'm just gonna come over here. So he came to our practices. You know, he put the whole face guard thing to work and just showed me a bunch of drills, gave me a gang of tapes, just taught me a lot about how it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to be. And when you have expectations and you discipline kids, and the discipline is even across the board, it's not as difficult as people think. You just got to. The most difficult part is the initial putting the time in.
Yeah.
And then you can't shift your priorities. You gotta have expectations. You have to have discipline, and the same discipline for everybody. And the funny thing is, most schools, I don't know if I can't say most schools good because I've been to most schools, but a lot of schools I've witnessed, coaches don't say too much to their best players. And whereas at African Century, it's very hard for good players.
Yeah.
It is tough. You know, you if you can play, you're gonna come to tears a couple times in African Century because the expectations is gonna be very hard, high, and heavy on you being the best player.
Right.
So, and once you set that precedent, it's easy for everyone else to fall in line.
Right.
You just preach hard work. Like the very first thing I did at African Central, we had a freshman team. 15 girls came out to try. I cut 10 kids. Not 5 girls.
Yeah, 5 girls.
Not 5 girls.
That proved the point right there, guys.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the AD like, you gonna cut all them kids? You only got 5 girls.
You saw 5 girls that want to work.
Wow.
Yo, man, ain't no sense in having, 7, 8 kids. I gotta figure out discipline and yada. And this would come and talking about she don't feel like these 5 girls want to work hard. This is what we go with. We got the middle school group. The last thing you want to do is have some slackers and some people that can't keep up.
Right.
It's just a year. We got 8 killers that's gonna be here next year. So we need to set the tone and the precedent for what this program is gonna be about.
Right.
And that's just
Wow.
what it is.
Right.
So you have 5
Yeah,
players.
5 players. That's
Like we're going with
that's
these
real,
5.
though. That's real. Kid.
Yes,
That's real.
definitely. So what is your I hear you have a list of expectations that you give to your girls prior to coming to tryouts.
Well,
basically.
It's basically like 5 things that you measure kids on. You know what I'm saying? That where you can say, all right, these 5 situations is what determines where you be and how you're going to be. Basically, it's your academics, your attitude, your work ethic, your reliability, and your talent. You know what I'm saying to you? So, because if
In that order, right?
in that order, because if you are where you're supposed to be academically, we ain't got to worry about losing you.
Right.
So, and for the most part, it's always been good. But some kids, they fall off because they don't do what they're supposed to do academically. And then the next thing is your attitude. Your attitude, it has to be in a certain mindset to where you can be coached, you can be pushed, and you got to have a strong sense of altruism with your attitude, because it's constant give and take, and it's constantly doing something for somebody else. If we're in there, we run it, okay? You might make the time all the time, but if the group don't make it, you got to run again. So your altruism has to be at an all-time high to kind of deal with that, because it's very easy to say, well, I'm making the time, they not making it, so I have to keep running. So you and then you talk about your reliability. You got to be reliable. You can't have too much to do. If you got too much, if you're not here, you're not here. And here's the thing, even if it's excused, because sometimes we say, well, my mom's and I had to go out of town, and you still wasn't here. You understand what I'm saying? If you ain't here, you ain't here. And you miss 2 or 3 days of practice, you get in quicksand, because now you come back, it wasn't like we was all standing around doing nothing waiting for you to get back.
Right.
So you come
Especially
back,
at the beginning of the season,
Right.
right?
and even in the middle and the end, it's like,
You're
yo,
learning something. Yeah.
man, y'all did that. It's like in the paces, and so you take off the day, or if you just got so much going on. Funny story. I had a young lady on my team early on, and she was involved in the church play. And the mom said, well, you know, she got this church play. She do some praise dancing. She might miss some practices and this, that, and the third. She missed a lot of days, like 2 or 3 days a week.
Wow.
So she comes to the game, okay? Daughter's not playing. So she's steaming on fire, coming to me, cussing me out. I said, man, did your daughter go to praise dance? Watch your language, mama. You have a conversation with me. Let's just talk about this. You're going to have a conversation with me about your daughter going to praise dance. And you get upset and come and cuss me out. I'm somebody in the streets. Listen, like I haven't been dropping your daughter off from practice.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been taking her home.
Yeah.
Like all of those things. This is just how much playing time mean to parents. You
Right.
This is a young lady I was dropping off almost every day.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, when she
Wow.
was there,
When
right?
she was there.
Right.
I'm
She was
dropping
there.
you off. I'm getting you, taking you.
Right.
You gotta eat. You hungry?
See.
Only thing that happened, you just didn't play. But you didn't play because I don't like you. You didn't play because I just made a conscious effort to say she ain't playing. You ain't playing because you had some other responsibilities. And here's a big key about life. When you got multiple responsibilities,
Mm-hmm.
it's natural consequences.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
That ain't nothing Coach McKinney made up.
Yeah.
like, hey, we want to go to the Bahamas. You want to get the feet done.
Right.
But somebody got to eat.
Right.
Right.
Somebody got to
Yes.
have some.
Exactly.
So what the kids have to learn is, first of all, you got to make an executive decision.
Yes. Is this gonna be something I can
Do I want to
do?
do this, or do I want to do that,
Right.
or do I want to do both of them and just deal with whatever I get from it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can't have it both ways.
Mhm.
Right.
And this young lady was pretty good, but if you ain't there, you're not there.
Right.
You know what
That's
I'm saying? But you know what? Every day is a competitive day. Every year is different.
Mhm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? The biggest misconception that a lot of folks have about sports, they equate equality to fair. When in actuality, if it was equal, it would be totally unfair. You know what I'm saying? It's about who puts in the most work.
That's true.
Right.
That is true. That is so
Right.
true. Yeah.
Who
Uh-huh.
puts in the most work. So I can't give you the same amount as this young lady, and you don't put as much work in.
Right.
Right. Right.
That would
Because
be
if you
unfair.
miss work, you miss 3 hours of work, you ain't gonna get paid.
Right.
I had a parent call me one time and say, "Man, can my daughter get at least 5 minutes just for being a senior?" I said, "Man, I got 5 seniors. That'll be 25 minutes. The game only 32 minutes."
Right.
Right.
I said, it don't work like that, Mom. I don't divvy out playing time because of, it's not a
'Cause you about to
seniority thing.
graduate.
You
Right.
gotta play. I was like, so that doesn't realistically make sense. You know what she said, to her credit? Man, coach, I never quite thought of it like that.
Well, at least she was good. Did she at least
Right.
thought about
Because
it?
I'm sure you had some parents who
Had a different.
cussed
Man,
you out and
listen,
didn't say
Listen,
sorry.
oh man, I've been cussed out so much. I've been cussed out. Whoa. I've been cussed out by some parents where the kids be like, hey, just chill out. At all different times. During the game, after the game, it's cool. But here's the thing. I don't never really that's part of it. And and it's unrealistic to think that's not going to happen. Okay, because you looking at something from two different angles. See, I let parents know, like, we can have conversations at 9 o'clock on Sundays for a couple of reasons. One, as human beings, when it's just us one-on-one, our energy is different.
Right. Yeah.
So we're more apt to sit down and listen to one another. Even with kids, I was dealing with students. I had 2 kids out in front of everybody ready to fight. I'd take the same 2 kids, give them room by themselves, and say, hey man, go ahead. Go ahead, what?
Right.
Y'all don't peep out y'all way. Y'all
Right. Like we still fighting.
Without the audience.
And I'm like, hey, y'all want to fight? Y'all want to fight? Y'all.
Right.
So my thing with the parent situation, a lot of times as a parent, you don't understand what you don't understand. So when I'm sitting there meeting with the parent, because I've had some, I've sat them down, and after we met, to their credit, they've been like, man, coach, I didn't know that. First thing is this: as a parent, you're gonna come to every game. If you come to every single game, and it's 2 games or 3 games a week, you've seen a grand total of 1 hour and 36 minutes of basketball. Listen, think about that. If you come to every single game, you watched 1 hour and 36 minutes of basketball.
Okay.
And that's only if your kid play all 130, all the whole time.
Right.
So if you see 1 hour and 36 minutes of basketball, well, check this out. I'm in practice with your daughter for 2 hours every day. That's one practice I've already seen more than you.
Right.
So we got 3 practices, and plus I'm at all the games.
6 hours plus 7 hours.
So my 9 hours, my 9 plus hours to your hour 30. You don't know. You not even looking at you don't even see the same spectrum. So you, as a coach, you have to understand that you can't get wrapped up into what people are saying in the stands, because they're not seeing it how you see it. You know what I'm saying? They're not seeing it how you seen it. So it doesn't even it doesn't really affect me. It makes me upset sometimes, and more so, not upset, disappointed. Because at the end of the day, and this, you can ask any of my son's coaches, they always say, man, coach, you one of the best parents we got. Because I don't say much, I don't bother, because you always gotta appreciate this as a parent, regardless of what you think about how a coach, man, that person is somewhere with my kid for 2 hours out the day. 2 hours, they can be at home getting in the Lord knows what.
True.
And you ain't paying no babysit fee. But if nothing else, for that good hour, 2 hours, this person with your kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Self-constructive, yeah.
And they doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can't get so emotionally wrapped up into the game, but it's a gift and a curse. I like it when parents are into the games. I like this type of stuff right here, especially for girls basketball, because we need it. I mean, you need that strong passion, that strong energy, whether it's negative or positive, but you need it in order to sustain this thing that we have. So both situations need each other. So I don't get overly into parents getting on it, because I know it's gonna happen. If you're not questioning or like scratching your head about something that I'm doing as a coach, as a parent, then I ain't doing too much of that.
Right. Yeah, right. That's true.
If you just loving on, I'm telling you, if you just loving on your coach, they probably ain't doing that.
Right.
Because at some point in time, we dealing with young teenagers, and there's no perfect young teenager who just can just take everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna be uneasy if they're being held, and they're being held accountable all the time. Like, it's hard to be held accountable all the time.
Yes.
Grown folks can't do that. So
Exactly.
So for a kid to get in a room with myself or JB for 2-3 hours, that's the situation. That's not easy.
Right.
That's true. We've been talking for a while. We're gonna take a little break.
Yes.
Just a 5-minute break. He's giving us so much. I done forgot what time it is. It's 7:05. Give us about 5 minutes and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Yeah. All work, no play, boy. Now that I'm booming, yeah. All I know is money. 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 So ATM, addicted to the money. I'm so ATM, I'm so ATM, and I be feeling for it. Yeah, I can't help myself. So ATM, addicted to the money. I'm so ATM, I'm so ATM, and I be feeling for it. Yeah, I can't help myself. Being ATM, that my MO. I was going through withdrawing, I was Bruno. Now I'm booming stupid. That money calling, it just be calling me. Like I'm Pookie, I'm so addicted to it. I can't live without it. Like Master P with my cheese, cause they know I'm body. And I be salad dressing, lettuce falling on my pockets. Paper cuts all on my thighs, all I make is deposits. So ATM, addicted to the money. I'm so ATM, I'm so ATM, and I be feeling for it. Yeah, I can't help myself. So ATM, addicted to the money. I'm so ATM, I'm so ATM, and I be feeling for it. Yeah, I can't help myself. All I know is it's paper. If I don't know nothing else, I've been down before, but now top shelf and this cash on the no credit check. Look, all I know is these haters. Better wake up. I know some broke comments that'll ride on you for the low. Like the mega bus, I need my paper straight on the paper plate, cause it's half full of my paper cup and my elevator keep going up. I'm prepped time, so don't interrupt. My girl say she need a bag. That's a pocketbook, a couple bands in my pants. I told her, look, girl, that's a pocketbook. Money. If I don't know about nothing, I know money. If I don't know about nothing, I know money. If I don't know about nothing, they looking stupid. If I don't know about nothing, man, trust me, I know about money. I know money. So ATM. Addicted to the money. I'm so ATM. I'm so ATM, and I be feeling for it. Yeah, I can't help myself. So ATM, addicted to the money. I'm so ATM, I'm so ATM, and I be feeling for it. Yeah, I can't help myself. I'm feeding for that money crazy. I'm feeding for that money daily. So I go get it, nigga. Whoa. Hey. No. They say that I'm heartless. I might be cold-hearted. That's the way the streets making me. Don't know luck come with commas. Billings don't get the bills paid. Kinda hard when you starving. That's so nice I can't sleep, baby. I'ma get it regardless. They throwing dirt on my name like I'm dead. Cause I'm trying to get bread. Being broke, well, I can't understand how you lay in a bed. Gotta go get it, so I'm up in at it. If you ain't got it, then how you chillaxing? You wanna ball, then you got to practice. Can't keep complaining when you hustling backwards. You wanna get out what you put in. And I'm putting in work. You wanna get out what you put in. I keep putting in work. See, I'ma get it no matter what. No matter what, I ain't giving up. Can't sugarcoat it so you think it's sweet. I just keep it real so you know it's me. They say that I'm heartless. I might be cold-hearted. That's the way the streets made me. Don't know luck come with commas. Feelings don't get the bills paid. Kinda hard when you starving. And some nights I can't sleep, baby. I'ma get it regardless. 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 I don't care what your friends say. I can't deal with the fraudulence. I don't care who come with me. I'ma get it regardless. They say that I'm perfect. No, I just ain't flawed, baby. Gotta prove that it's worth it. Otherwise, I'll talk saving. They say actions be louder than words. You see what I'm saying? They say actions be louder than words. You can see what I'm saying. I thought I told them that it's money time. It's now or never, better pick a side. Either riding with me or I'm pulling off. I hit the gas and it's adios. Couldn't get comfortable with being broke. When your money funny, boy, it ain't a joke. So I'm getting to it cause that's all I know. Can't deal with them, better leave them alone. They say that I'm heartless. I might be cold-hearted. That's the way the streets made me. Don't know luck up with commas. Feelings don't get the bills paid. Kinda hard when you starving. And some nights I can't sleep, baby. I'ma get it regardless. 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 I don't care what your friends say. I can't deal with the fraudulence. I don't care who come with me. I'ma get it regardless. Regardless who coming with me. Regardless who got my back. Regardless on how hard the road is. Regardless ain't looking back. Regardless no matter what. Regardless ain't giving up. Regardless I can't stop now. Gotta get all my troubles up. Regardless no. Regardless who. Regardless what. Regardless when we're high. Regardless no. Regardless yo. Regardless me. I'ma do it no matter who. Ever with a nigga, I'ma be what I'm on, I'ma be, regardless no matter what, regardless of fucking team, I'ma be, regardless no matter what, regardless who come, regardless who come up, regardless of no, I ain't looking back, regardless.
All right, we back. Coach McKinney still in the building with us.
Yes, has lots to share, lots to say.
Lots of good information and learning a lot about him too in the program. So and seeing where it started from, and that it didn't just wake up one morning and become the program that they are.
Like, we just gonna win today.
And off the air, we brought up a few things. One of the things I want to get into, they talked about I don't know how to put this, some of the misconceptions or misinterpretations of how Afrocentric gets some of their players. So Kenny.
Well, people, when you have a good product, the product it recruits itself, and unfortunately, we only talk about first of all, it goes deeper than that. It's kind of hard to accept something that's predominantly African American or African American just being good. You know,
yes,
so, like
and
that's just with us.
Within our own race,
exactly.
We can't accept it. Yeah,
right. It's got to be something else.
You've always heard of John Thomas just being a great recruiter, and Dean Smith being a great coach. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, that just comes from us. And how we are, and what's been that self-hate that's just been embedded us. And that's all. And I can do a whole
right.
You know, stand as basketball tip. But as far as the Afrocentric piece go, like I said, just Taisha, for instance, she was a young lady. She just felt the love and just coming to Afro Central Gym every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, hard work attracts hard work.
Right.
Alicia Howard was a very hard worker. You know, Mr. Dunny looked down the court and saw her. It's like, see what I'm saying? It doesn't take much.
Right.
But it's a lot easier to make yourself look good to say I'm doing something wrong and why I'm successful. Instead of just
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
That's true.
And being an African American, that's a very easy target.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm never offended by it. I'm never worried about it. I don't really care about it because I'm just trying to get my kids paid. Trying to get them to get that scholarship paper.
Right.
Period. And when they get the papers, trying to have them academically ready to keep it. You know, and we've had over 29 kids get basketball scholarships. That's over $1 million in bread for African American young ladies to go to school for free.
Wow.
And in an industry that's very hard. I don't think basketball is probably one of the hardest scholarships to obtain because they only give 15 of them out. And listen, they don't give 15 of them out a year. They only give out maybe 5. This school probably got 5.
Right.
This school probably got 4.
Right.
You'd be lucky if the school got 7.
Right.
Basketball, let me repeat this for everybody out there that's listening.
Yes.
All the girls listen.
And there might be some boys out there. Basketball is probably the hardest scholarship to obtain. I was just telling my son this. I was like, listen, man, it's hard. You know,
Like especially
my younger brother plays at University of Hawaii. You know, he was second in the area in scoring. And he's 6'3". You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he averaged a legitimate 19 a game.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
6'3".
Yeah.
That scholarship was tough to get. Basketball, it not only takes talent, but sometimes it takes the right situation. It takes the right people talking for you.
Right.
It takes a tremendous amount of work ethic. Then it takes understanding of the academic process. Because because somebody can offer you a scholarship, but before you can take the money, are you certified in the NCAA clearinghouse?
Right.
Did you pass your ACT? Do you have the correct GPA to get the money?
Right.
So when you talk about Afrocentric and recruiting, what I'm doing? Hey, give me. Let me have. How much money did I offer you for your door? How much money did I offer you?
You already you started and worked with my daughter, to be honest. So
and
offered your time.
And I always tell, and I'm not working with kids like, hey, if you don't come here, I ain't working no more. I tell parents, I say, listen, it doesn't matter where you go, I'm always help your kid because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this little $4,000, $5,000 I get to coach these girls. It ain't nothing to even really be doing all that about. I'm just trying to help kids get to school. You know what I mean? All of them. I ain't gotta be selfish about it.
Exactly.
So
that's
wonderful. When you talk about recruiting, now Malia Johnson is an 8th grade young lady. She hasn't played one high school game. I mean, I took her to Wright State Elite Camp. They offered her a scholarship. So I ain't the only person that know that. So naturally, if you got a young lady and she played basketball, you ain't crazy. You like, hey, I probably should at least explore Afrocentric and look into it.
Yeah.
If you're intelligent, because for us, it's about opportunity and opportunity after high school. And that opportunity after high school for our young people it's just not easy.
And I didn't know that Wright State offered Malia. Congratulations, Malia.
Yeah,
Hey, Malia.
I mean, and you know, Lexus Smith, sophomore, she ain't played 2 years of high school. You know, Toledo, all for her. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Marquette. You know,
Mhm.
they ain't played 2 years high. So that type of stuff is happening that's real life.
Yes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying to you? That's not no play thing.
Right.
And I'm dead on about that. I'm about that life. You want to accuse me? If you say, man, Coach Kenny be out there trying to get that bread for his boys, yeah, you ain't lying.
Right.
Trying to get that money.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
right.
mean, for real. And I'm trying to work to make sure they all get it in some shape, form, and my coaches too.
Right.
You know, everybody that's ever been an assistant coach at Alpha Century, you know, they work at somebody's college.
Yes.
You know, they working at
Yes.
somebody's college. So this thing is as far as being an African American man and being head of an African American organization, I just want to make it the best. And I want
Yes.
to make
And why
it
not?
the number one opportunity for everybody to eat.
Mhm.
I ain't just trying to win no basketball games.
Right. Right.
That's gonna happen anyway, but I'm trying to let everybody eat. The coaches,
Right.
players, everybody.
Yes.
Right.
Now, and when you talk about recruiting, I ain't giving nobody no 1% finance on no houses like some of these other programs doing.
Right.
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 I mean,
I know
Right.
someone knows.
Right.
I'm
Right.
I know someone knows that offer you apartments and all that.
Yes.
I don't own no apartments. I don't own. I can't give nobody no job. We don't even got a booster club at our center. We eat what we kill. You know what I'm saying? I'm not selling Gatorades and hot Cheetos and fruit snacks out the school. You know, what I'm gonna do to recruit you? You know, I'm
Be like,
not
I
finna- I'm
got
not finna-
$5.
Yeah, I'm not
Get
finna
you a
take-
hot dog and some
Yeah.
Domino's pizza.
I'm not gonna take no food off Xavier's and Braden's plate
Right.
for some kid to come play some basketball for me.
Mm-mm.
Ain't got to do that, you know. So that's just how that goes down. But that's more of a psychological thing. It's just easy to say that. You know, when I first started watching Brookhaven play, I'd be sitting in the stands and people be telling me Coach Lee can't coach. I'm like, now, if this man can't coach, who the hell out here coaching him? These people must be crazy.
Right.
But the sad, disheartening thing was it was people with the same skin color as me. You know,
Mhm.
talking about this man can't coach, and he out there winning city titles, district titles, going to the regionals. He didn't won a state title, and not only that, his kids is going to college.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that was probably one of the most thing I had to wrap my head around when I first moved here to Columbus. I mean, it's a great family town. Don't get me wrong. I've met some fantastic people, but you know, coming from the south side of Chicago, going to a historically black college where black folks really have a genuine love for what it is we do and how we do it. It was disheartening to see other African Americans not just 100% totally embrace a prominent figure, an icon, a legend that's right there in their backyard, just not having appreciation for that man. You know, I'm gonna tell you a real quick funny story on just the mentality of some of our highly educated African Americans. I asked who are some of the good coaches that I should go observe. Guy tells me, you know, you should go see Coach Chris Joseph at Worthington Christian at the time. Chris Joseph is a great coach, really good coach.
Mhm.
I mean, and the guy was right. You understand what I'm saying? He was dead on. Chris Joseph was a great coach. Now, keep in mind, that was a Division III school, just like Alpha Century. Now, they never won those state titles, but they get to the regionals. They win a bunch of games. He didn't quite have as many girls get basketball scholarships, but the man, spot on, was a great coach. Same black guy will be like, man, y'all just said Afrocentric. Y'all just got an advantage. Like you, I mean,
Wow.
totally disregard the fact that we done won 5 state titles, 9 city league titles, 11 districts,
Wow.
8 regionals. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's looking at me like, ah, man, y'all. I mean, yeah, y'all straight. I would just like to see y'all fare up against some of them other older teams. And I said to him, I said, now, you remember you told me to go watch Chris Joseph play?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah. I say, man, why is it that you got so much respect for Coach Joseph, but you can't see what we do over here at Afrocentric?
Same division,
listen,
same situation.
I said, you do realize they was the same division. And right when I said that, that's when something in his head kind of, he had to think like, man,
I got
Why-
it to
where'd
say.
I
What
get
can I
this
get?
from?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
why do I feel
Why
that
do I
way?
feel
why do we do that?
But it goes deep.
sad. Yes.
It go, but for a brother to have that type of perception,
Right.
but I run into a lot of brothers like that, and it's unfortunate that they feel, I don't know, they just have a bad an inferior complex or something. But it's unfortunate that you can't see your own greatness. I see all
That
of
is
our
what it
greatness.
is.
So what do you say when people talk to you about the academics, why they don't want their kids to come or what have you?
I mean, when they actually know what they're trying to say, what I mean is I have a bunch of parents that said, well, I'm just concerned about the academics,
Mm-hmm.
which is a general, legitimate statement.
Right.
But when I say to you, well, could you be a little bit more specific? Exactly what are your concerns? Then they just repeat what they said. Well, the academics. No. That's very general. Like exactly what your concerns, because there can be some concerns. Like what do you want to know? Do you want to know if your child come here, can they graduate and can they do well in college? Oh yeah. Jasmine Brooks went to Ohio State on an academic scholarship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alicia Howard, Kennedy Azubuike, like we've had a slew of girls go to college and graduate, with high honors. So are you asking me, can you come here and then go to a school and perform well?
Because they want to make sure their kids are prepared.
But what do you want to know? And the crazy thing is, they really don't know. Like there's a lot of parents who just don't.
They look at numbers, or they just hear somebody say. Well,
they don't look at anything. They just really don't know. It just, I mean, they don't. When they hear the term academic, they don't understand what it all entails. Because if you know, you can clearly tell me when I'm in my health class, kids say, "Hey, I don't understand this." Well, what don't you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the meaning of this word and how it goes with this, contrasting situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is what it is. But then you got that one. Well, what don't you understand? You ain't read. Go ahead and read, and then tell me what. So a lot of parents, they just don't know that. Once again, it's that if we was called the Afrocentric school, not Afrocentric, but we was called a Columbus High Academic School of the Intelligence. It could be the same kids, the same people, the same situation in the same building, and people wouldn't question nothing. It's just when you hear Afrocentric, you just equate blackness to being something that's just not good. So that's why when I ask, like, could you just be more, because that could be some concerns. I get it, but I can't really.
I think a lot of them talk about test scores and things like that.
What I'm telling you is they don't talk about that. They don't talk about anything. They don't say anything. Now, if they say, well, I'm concerned about the test scores. All right. It's very simple. There's 30-some odd kids in the room. 10 of them care about their test scores. Maybe the other 20 don't. Now, are they going to get in? Now, are they the type of kids that's going to get in the way of your child learning? Well, that all depends. Is your kid a follower, or can your kid be focused? You know what I'm saying? Like now if your kid can't be focused and they're easily pulled here and pulled there, then that's a situation. Now I can tell you the environment that they're going to be in if they're playing basketball, where 90% of the girls got 3.0s or higher, where we got over 85% kids that went to school for free. Now, I can tell you about that circle, but if you're overly concerned about the school and the holes, then, you know, let me know exactly what that is. I can look into it because, you know, people have legitimate concerns, but I can't answer your questions about your concerns if you don't even know what your concerns are. That's all I'm saying. So just as a parent, just know what you're talking about. Like, I'm gonna tell you this. This is another famous quote I hear all the time. Well, you know, I ain't gonna really be too much into these sports because we gonna worry about our academics and get some academic wise. Do you really know how hard it is to get an academic scholarship? Like seriously, like I've been doing basketball and been around people from private schools, Catholic schools, from public schools, high-end intelligent people. I can't name 5 people that got a full ride academic scholarship. In all of my 16 years of being a teacher, of being a coach, it's very, very hard. Our boys basketball coach, for instance, you know what his daughter got on the ACT? What she got on the ACT?
What she get?
30.
Wow.
Actually, she got a full ride academic scholarship.
Wow. At 30.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy. It's reality.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
But you better like do some homework. I was just talking to our counselor today, and I was like, how many kids have actually gotten full ride academic scholarships? She was like, man, your girl, Nene, maybe about 3 out the last 5 years. It's just hard. I mean, you can take the top 15, if you're in the top 15% of your class at whatever high school you're in, you can go into a pool and apply for some. But they ain't giving a whole bunch of them away. It's 60,000 plus students at Ohio State. When you get a chance, look up and see how many got full ride academic scholarships. And then here's the thing. That's why so many people with money and who have intelligent kids have them in extracurricular activities, right? Because that's where the collegiate money is. You know what I'm saying? Because they get, because because if academic scholarships was that easy to come by, you think all these people be playing all these sports and spending all this money?
Right.
No, they would all be going in the library.
They going to the library.
Yeah, they would be good because that's not where the money is. Like for you, don't ever say, is this just sports? No, athletics is $1 billion business. That's where the bread is when you talk about. That's why you got people that go to more affluent communities. I talked to, and this whole conversation, I had a conversation with a 2-lawyer household. And dad was like, hey, my baby got 3.8. We've been trying, but these scholarships, they're just tough to come by.
And then not only that, like, you know, for instance, you know, I had a, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say this. I know of a kid who went to, you know, they parents paid for them to go to private school, paid all that money, was preparing them, you know, and they didn't really have I guess everybody was like valedictorian if you had like a certain grade point average. In those type of schools, you don't, you know, it's not just one person, it's everybody that has a certain grade point average. Well, pay for all this, for them to go to this private school, and then come time for college to try to get these scholarships, make too much money. So you don't really need the scholarship. So now, the parent is a one parent home, parent raising their kid, and really needed their kid to get the scholarship money. So now trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay for my kid to go to school. Then they go to the same school as, the city school kids. I mean, I'm just saying.
I remember that conversation we had.
Yeah.
It's just very hard, and you better, and if you somebody that's just saying, well, we just gonna get some from some academics, you better start working. You better start applying, because the money ain't just growing on the trees like that.
But I've learned over my last couple of years, it's really what you put into the school that you go to. Like what your child puts into it, what they take from it, what they get from it, what you're going to get out of it. Right. So sometimes it's not necessarily school. We get so caught up in what school our child go to for high school or middle school. And it's really what is your child putting into it, and the people inside of the school where they give it to it.
Exactly.
So I think that's a big thing. But I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm sorry, guys, I gotta leave because of my kids today, as usual. And I'm so glad I got a chance to sit here and talk to you, Dr. McKinney, and get to know a little bit more about you. And I'm sure you guys learned, just like I did, a lot. And I wish I'd have known some of this information before, but it was great to get to know a little bit more and know you as a person past just the Coach McKinney that you see on the court. So it's so much more to it. I hope you all guys learned. I will see y'all next week, but they'll continue the conversation.
Yes. She gonna duck on out, fire. Be safe, be careful.
I'll see y'all later.
Yes, I know we should do that at break. But yeah, so it's a lot more than just what people think. And unfortunately, a lot of this is the reason why we do this show. We do this show to educate so that people are aware ahead of time. My goal, and I'm sure Fire's goal as well, is to grab those parents that's just starting out. Like these girls that's just starting the game of basketball, coming in, not, maybe 4th, 5th grade, just those things that they can prepare for and really, do their own thinking. Because personally, before I sent my kid over there to you, everybody's in your ear. Oh, don't send her. Don't send her over there. Don't send her over there. But what we did, me and Lee, is we just watched. We watched the interaction you have with the girls. We watched, just the time and the effort that you put into the girls is to me is bar none to what I've seen. So, I know that a lot of these girls that's come and they've received more than just, a basketball coach. They received a lot, and like you said, a lot of the coaches that coached with you, coach in college. I mean, that right there is more than I can say about a lot. And that's the truth.
Yeah, and my thing is, and I make this comment to the girls all the time. I say, now if you come to African Century, the only thing you learn how to do is play basketball, and you missed it. You missed out on a lot. Because the bottom line is, just because you attend African Century and you say you're coming over there to get a scholarship, that doesn't necessarily mean that's gonna happen.
Right.
We can't get removed from reality. And everybody's reality is not the same.
Exactly.
It's just not the same, and there's nothing that I can do about that. It's not that I walk around with scholarships in my pocket and say, "Here's one for you. Here's one for you."
Everybody get a scholarship like Oprah.
And that's another thing that I get accused of doing. Well, you that was your favorite. You did more for her. No, I gave everybody the same opportunity. It just so happened that it worked out for this young lady because of who they are and what they are. It's just different for everybody. But just because you may not be the best basketball player in the world. It's not the end all be all. I mean, this process of being part of Alpha Century girls basketball team, it's a learning process, and you supposed to get some life lessons. I run into players who've been cut, and they'll, they have such an appreciation for the small time that they was on the team, because you don't really have a full appreciation for being part of our program until 3-4 years
Right.
after you've been in it,
Mhm.
because that's when the lessons hit.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, neither I'm gonna teach you or reality gonna teach you.
Mm.
Like me teaching you is a lot easier, but you let reality teach you. You went through some stuff. A lot of times, I get them phone calls like, "Man, coach, I remember you was talking about X, Y, A, B, C, and D."
Right.
And so that's where the teaching comes in. That's where the teaching comes in.
Well, I know that all of your girls usually come back. They come back to celebrate your birthday,
Yeah, we get
which
a chance to
happens
do
to
it
be
last year.
around
We doing it
Christmas
this
Eve,
year.
right? So that says a lot. Usually, how many girls come back to?
Woo! Man, we can get up to 40 kids back. I mean, just
Wow.
far as like the girls and the former coaches, that alumni breakfast is like a tradition, and it's been great. I mean, it is. I mean, it's not like spending my birthday with all my former players, and then my wife and my sons come back, and they're so supportive, and it's great to have a wife like mine who played basketball, who
Mhm.
understands basketball, and having kids who like being around and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it flows very easy for me. Now in that regards, I'm very lucky as a coach, because my wife and my kids, they visit.
Yes.
I remember I was coaching AAU game, and I had the big double stroller, and I got a technical foul
Ooh.
and literally got kicked out the gym. I had to roll my sons out the double stroller out the gym. The parents like,
They're like, oh, you done kicked him out with the kids? Hey. See,
that is one of
you
the
can get the
funniest.
technical.
That is one of the
They
funniest.
got pictures. I need to see pictures of that.
I mean, I'm rolling out that gym in that big double stroller. I done got my tail kicked out, but I mean that's a big part of why we've been able to sustain the success, because even though I've gotten married and been married for 11 years and had 2 kids, because of the type of support I get from my family,
Mm-hmm.
it just made it easy, just made it flow.
Yeah, because not everybody in relationships have that type of
Yeah.
type of want or acceptance of being in the gym all day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I know you be in the gym all day, and she be in the gym too.
Yeah, all day,
So,
all morning.
right. So give us a little bit about your season, how it's looking, how it's coming together, and who's on your schedule.
First of all, we play Cuba Heights Wayne, who's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Then in Cincinnati, we play in the Thanksgiving tournament down there that's put together by Tanisha Benson and Bryce McKee.
Okay.
I think we're playing Mason on the 25th, which is going to be great.
Yes.
Then,
Yeah.
of course, we got Westerville South, which will be a really good game because they got a nice team.
Yes, they do.
Then we play Newark again, which that's always fun.
Mm.
JR does a good job out there with his crew. Then we have, I don't know who we playing in the bragging rights, but in the Nubian Classic we play Detroit Edison, which is a Michigan powerhouse.
Okay.
And we played Worcester High School in the Christmas tournament out in Mansfield Christian Catholic School. So that give us some good looks. I'm excited about this year. The girls have been working just really hard. They've been doing a great job. And the crazy thing is, we got two seniors, Ayana and Nettie, who I think are just really good leaders, and that makes a heck of a difference.
Yes.
When you got a couple of seniors that leads and that get along with everybody, and they just can rally people.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
so I'm excited about that. And then plus Jordan and Lexi and I is really clicking on all cylinders. And Cashmere has people gonna be really
they're gonna be surprised.
Oh yeah,
I know.
They're gonna be surprised.
Cashmere ain't it's taking names.
I mean, she's gonna really open up, and she actually already has. I'm happy for her. She's gotten some schools on her radar.
Yeah,
that has been really taking notice to it. Funny thing is, Central State thought she was graduating in 18. They wanted to offer her a scholarship.
Oh, they thought she was an 18.
She was an 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, which they still said they would like to offer her, but they just don't believe she's gonna be around. They think she's gonna move on up.
Oh,
and then the freshmen.
Yes. Wow.
I don't. The freshman has been doing really good. And
how many freshmen you got so far that's plans to come out for the team? Or
we've been having a consistent 27 young ladies in the gym.
Yes.
Wow. Unfortunately, we're only gonna have a 20-man roster. So once we get down to tryouts and stuff like that, some people unfortunately won't be able to be part of the program because, like I said, there's only room for 20. But a big part of our success, some of those freshmen gonna have to step up and do something. That's gonna be the thing that's gonna tell the tale. I mean, we know what our main core is gonna do, but it's that who's gonna emerge.
Right.
One of the things about when we won the state a couple of years ago, George just really emerged as a freshman, as a point guard. And the funny thing is, at one point in time, she ended up starting every game, or all probably but one game, something like that, and end up being a major focal point. But initially, when I think about freshmen, I always think about them just coming along slowly,
Right, to learn.
That
was my
reps,
thought.
Learning what it is, not just necessarily having to be dependent on, because sometimes that can be dangerous and that can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think Jordan hitting a big shot early in the season, hitting like a game with her early in the season helped her out. And a lot of times for freshmen, it just take a moment, for that to happen. Alicia Howard and Taisha and that whole crew as freshmen, they just came in kicking the doors down. They had such and during them early days at Afrocentric, the kids played with such a chip on their shoulder because we wasn't what we are now. They were really being disrespected and not thought of, and they didn't have any respect.
Right.
So their mentality,
they had something to prove.
Their mentality was just very different, Whereas these, like you said, Jordan wasn't even born on thing when we first started.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as a matter of fact, in 2007, how old was she when we won our first state title?
6. 5, 6, 5.
So you see what I'm
Right.
saying? So, you know, we won our first state title before you even was really running really good. And
Yeah.
so
That's when she started playing.
yeah, you see what I'm
Picked
saying?
up a ball. Well, about 5, but
Yeah. So the mentality is different, and so when I'm in there in practices, the approach is slightly different. I gotta constantly remind them of what it is we trying to do, but they. It's funny coming off a loss the previous year. Kind of does a good job of refocusing us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We seem to do a lot better the follow up year, which
Mm-hmm.
I can see the focus and the intensity and the camaraderie. Man, the camaraderie
Yes.
it's been great.
Yes.
It's been the camaraderie amongst the young ladies has been fantastic,
Yeah.
and that's gonna take them a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I've noticed that. So they have a pretty good relationship, and they have the same type of focus, and they know what they need to do.
Yeah,
And I
Yeah.
know a couple of the girls was like, "We gotta go ahead and get that ring before we leave up out of here."
yeah, you want to get that ring, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's been every kid that had played 4 years has gotten a ring since 2007.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So if you've been there for 4 years, you've had an opportunity to get a ring. So
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. So naturally, as you come in, that's almost priority. Like, man, I got to get me one of those. I got to get me one of them,
Right.
which is good, which is really good. I'm excited about it, and I'm just excited about girls basketball. Period.
Yes.
Excited about girls basketball.
Seems like
Period.
it's evolving, and
Mhm.
hopefully, if we keep talking about it and keep, because I believe, a lot of times, like the social media and all those type of things, people get wrapped up into it, and it's good and bad, because I think that the social media sometimes does put a focal on what's going on in the girls basketball, even though you're not on the
Shit,
Twitter.
I'm
On Twitter.
I'm a fish out of water. I couldn't tell you what the heck social media is doing to the game.
Right.
'Cause I don't even know how
But
to get on it.
I'll tell you though, like on some of the WNBA on their Twitter, they live stream some of the games, and
Mhm.
some of the like highlights and things. So girls now can go on there and really, see who's playing this game that they want to play. Because a lot of the girls don't know who played before them. They don't have no idea of, who's playing or who played, or like, when you talk to girls, the frustrating thing sometimes is, who do you compare yourself to, or when they compare girls, like for instance, for Jordan, one of the coaches called her Penny Hardaway, and it's always a man.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't nothing wrong with it, because Penny, I think that was a good. She reminded me of Penny.
Penny Hardaway is pretty good.
Yeah, and different men, but no one ever says, Candace Parker or Lisa Leslie, and they really don't know who she is. Probably back in, and a lot of the girls don't realize that. You can't really go and dominate in something when you don't know what the person before you did.
Period.
And so how do you measure how well you're doing if you don't know who played before you? So, the social media type of thing, I think that, it's getting the girls basketball. And then with the game coming out, the WNBA game that's going to come out on the
on place
video.
On video,
yeah,
which is fantastic. I just wish, man, I just wish it's called the WNBA,
right?
So they have some attachment to the NBA.
Yes,
it's called the WNBA. I just wish that the commissioner would just say, man, these women are connected to us.
Yeah.
Let's give each team 15 million towards their salaries.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Right.
You got $1 billion.
Give them an incentive.
Let's,
Right.
because once you start paying the players, everything changes.
It sure does.
Everything heightens. Everything heightens. So, you know, the NBA, I just wish that they would take hold of that and say, man, let's, or even if each of the star players was getting 200 million,
right?
So let me just give each team. I'm just gonna pay $1 million,
right,
to the top player on every team,
right?
$15 million,
right?
Let me find a way to. I just wish that happened,
right?
I wish that because.
Why do you think it would that is not? Because do you feel like it's not
the same reason it took the NCAA forever to just realize, like, hello, we should let players eat whenever they want to eat.
Right.
I read John Calipari's book. He said something, just the NCAA, when a team make it to the tournament, they should just pay for the players and up to 4 their family members, pay for their flights and their hotel.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even miss the money.
Right.
This is the thing about this. We talking about, do you really think it'll be a hit on the NBA to give $15 million to each of the WNBA? Nothing.
No. When people come in with a signing bonus and they ain't even step foot on the court,
it's
millions.
It's just something about that to where the commissioner got to say, hey, there's something wrong with the guy who don't even dress for an NBA team, don't even dress in a uniform. He's getting paid more than the best player
in
on a WNBA team.
Right.
And somebody got to go to dinner about that and say,
right.
And we got the money.
Right.
You have the money.
They have the money.
Come on. So it's just, what we doing?
That's a good question. And hopefully, the more girls that's coming up, it just seems like the game is evolving. Maybe somebody will take a look at it. I don't know. We shall see.
Venus Williams had to take some heavy steps in order to get the women paid equally in tennis and the Wimbledon. So hopefully one day somebody will
it's
do
almost
something.
Like they scared. They don't want to mess up their opportunities, but sometimes somebody has to take a chance, and hopefully somebody will.
Yeah.
So, well, we are getting ready to wrap it up. Coach McKinney, you have given us so many jewels and gems, so much great information.
Sure.
And, we appreciate you coming in. We didn't have the incense and the candles, but
next time I got my lighter and my lights and stuff.
We'll get your light. We'll get your lighting together. We'll get the curtain. It's gonna hang over, and we're gonna get your big picture.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get your banner, the banners that's missing from our wall at Afrocentric.
Man, please, somebody,
just
down here. Can we get some banners about the Afrocentric at some point in time?
Well, we about to say goodnight, but before we do, tell the listeners about the open gym who want to come out.
Well, the best time to come out, honestly, for open gym will be the Friday from 3 to 5 if you can muster it, and really the Saturday from 7 to 9 a.m. Those are the best ones to kind of come to. We do have it on Monday from 6 to 8, but we kind of have it in our middle school gym, so not quite as much space. But the field house
still bigger than the other gym.
Oh man, it's still bigger than the other gym, and believe me, I appreciate it.
Right.
But Saturdays, 7 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m. That's really the best time. And like I said, we do go on Fridays from 3 to 5.
All right. Well, again, we thank you for being our guest, and
it's beautiful.
We're gonna end it on that note. We'll talk to y'all next week, Wednesday, same time.
Peace.